Well, this is Dr. Sharon Epberg on Alive and Kicking. We have the after show with Dr. Deborah Yurgelun-Todd. We've been talking all about the neuroscience and how to get women of middle age to, get their mental acuity back up. And it's such interesting information. I can't figure out why the whole world doesn't know about it. So, Dr. Deb, I'm so happy you came and got to chat a little bit more about it. So, brain health is such a huge issue. Talk to us a little bit about this research again. Give us another wrap-up on the research that you've been doing.
Oh, I'm delighted to do that. I agree with you. This is a very important topic, and I think most of us, as we head into middle age or are active in our lives, take care of our bodies, but haven't paid as much attention to our brains and to our mental acuity. We notice that we have some difficulties sometimes, but we don't actually do all the things that we could do to help ourselves optimize. So in the last more than several years, almost a decade now, I've been doing research looking at the effects of natural supplements on brain health and looking at sort of preventative and more positive actions that we can take to keep ourselves functioning optimally. And using some of the high technology that's available to us in neuroscience, particularly magnetic resonance imaging, we've found that we have specific changes in the brain that we can document when we take natural supplements such as Cognition citicoline, which is one of the products I've been working with.
I have Susan Quinn here with me on the ToutSuite Social Club show too, and I just,
I thought your interview was great. We're going to be able to hear that on NPR.
Yeah, we sure will. It's just so it's so interesting to me when you have someone who, as a scientist, who has gone and done this kind of research, because so often when we think about natural remedies versus drugs, it's always about, oh, well, someone said it felt better. Talk a little bit about the kinds of tests that you did, because I know that you didn't just do, self-reporting, that actually there were tests that were done that showed the results.
Right. Well, actually, we've completed a series of about 4 studies now, and the initial studies, what we wanted to do was document that the brain actually did have a specific effect in response to supplementation. So we looked at data from magnetic resonance spectroscopy, which is a method that looks at the chemistry in your brain in vivo. That is, we can put you in a machine and actually measure your brain chemical levels. And after supplementation, we saw that there were changes in the precursors to certain neurotransmitters in the brain, and therefore we could document that people didn't just say they felt better, but there was science behind why they felt better or why they felt more on top of things. And so, this was pretty... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I know like women, in their 40s and 50s, this is something that so many people talk about. I don't feel as sharp. I'm feeling more confused. My moods are changing. And I think that this idea that you could be taking something that's natural, that isn't a drug, that you're not addicted to, that the results happen pretty fast. That it's just amazing to me that everyone doesn't know. Why isn't this on the front page of the news? Is it because it's about middle-aged women?
Yeah. There's no major pharmaceutical company putting money to put it on the news, I think.
I don't know. It just seems to me like I don't understand why everyone isn't taking this.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about the actual chemicals that you found. Like, are these things that are in the brain? Are they chemicals that are, is it a compound that we naturally have that we start to lose? Is it things we can eat that can improve? Like, tell us more about that. Don't you? I
heard kale and blueberries are the brain foods, but I'd like to add to that list.
Well, let's ask the scientists.
Yeah. Well, so one of the unique things about citicoline is that while it is present naturally, it isn't present in a high enough dose to make it possible to really eat enough of it to supplement the brain. So this is a natural molecule. We consider it a natural supplement. And if we want to improve brain health, we really have to take a supplementation that is concentrated and we really wouldn't be able to eat enough, let's say, liver to make the same dosing in the brain. And it is no side effects, essentially, because all the studies that we've done so far at the doses that we recommend, no one's reporting side effects. And it is very exciting because they show not only the mental acuity improvement, but they report a better sense of well-being, often improved sleep, often improved mood. So, somebody was kidding me and said, well, why wouldn't you take this? And that's a really good question, because as far as we can tell, this is a really outstanding basic product that enhances not only brain health, but whole body health as well. But we're focusing our research on the brain health.
Can you say the name of the compound again? Like, actually, because I don't think on this show we've actually said, what is it? Like, it's not a secret. Like, tell us what the name of the actual compound is. And
right.
I think you can get it over the counter. So let's give us the
Sure. So the product is citicoline, but the research we've been doing is on Cognition citicoline, and we feel very positive about working with Cognition citicoline because it is very pure. The manufacturing is well supervised, and our research has shown that has very good effects. And so not all natural products are the same, and we highly recommend the Cognition citicoline.
So it's a citicoline, and Cognition is a particular brand. And I did a little research myself, and there's actually several on the market, several different, like you could go to Vitamin Shop, Whole Foods. You can actually go and ask the people and get it, and it has a certain dosage. And if someone were to take this, how long should they take it before they think they might notice something?
Notice some results?
Yeah,
that's a great question. In general, most of our studies have focused on the 4-week to 6-week time. However, in a recent study that we did in middle-aged women, we saw effects as early as 2 weeks. So I would say you could report an effect, you could feel a difference within 2 weeks, but if you haven't felt it within 2 weeks, I'd keep going for another few weeks and see what happens, because essentially everyone responds within the 4-week period.
I mean, I think so many people were very conditioned in like a pharmaceutical type world where things happen, like you take it for 2 days, you take an aspirin, it's better. I know, with natural remedies, you do have to build up a certain amount in your system, and so very often it does require a little bit more patience, a little more like kind of stick-to-itness to stay on products longer to notice some difference. So you would say that would be the same with this as well?
Right. I mean, this is, from my perspective, you're really reintroducing into your body a natural process, a natural product, and it has to build up in your system, and then you consistently take it. So it isn't something that you respond to overnight, but you're like you would with vitamins. You're going to sustain the intake over time.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of overnight, one of the other things that I remember you talking to me about the last time we spoke was that people were also reporting that it helped with sleep, which I think insomnia is such a huge issue, especially for women in perimenopause, menopause. Did your study actually show some statistical changes in people's sleep behavior?
Right. So we initially didn't actually think that that was one of our primary outcomes. We were looking more at this brain chemistry change, but we found anecdotal reports of improved sleep. So we're now completing additional studies looking at the extent to which individuals are showing improved sleep. And there have been a number of reports that said the sleep improved in terms of being able to stay asleep in the middle of the night and not having early morning awakening and a more sound sleep.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Sounds
a better
awesome.
day of a better night.
I would think college students would be very interested in a supplement that helps with their mental acuity, especially around finals time. Are you finding people are also younger people are also thinking? I mean, why would it be just just for women in middle age?
The extent to which adolescents would show improvement with this type of supplementation. Again, the uniqueness of these recent studies has been that the focus is on healthy individuals, not people who have brain damage or have any kind of neurological disorder. But we're talking about, everyday healthy people reaching their full potential, being able to sustain their best selves. And the previous work with this citicoline, was on individuals who had strokes or other vascular insults, brain injuries, and the dosing was very high on those studies. But this particular group of studies that we've been involved in focused on how can healthy individuals, whether they be middle-aged or adolescents, actually show improvement in cognitive functioning, mood, and sort of day-to-day well-being with the supplementation.
It's such an awesome alternative to so many of the things that people run to when they're not feeling good or they're starting to feel like they're losing it a little bit. I think we should try it. And then Dr. Todd back.
Yes.
Yeah,
that sounds great.
Let's do it. Then we'll be all perky, and we're both pretty perky, but still, I think
people report increased energy and ability to sustain working longer. A lot of executives who've tried it have also said that they felt that they were doing much better on it. So, you're not really looking to result. You don't have to have a problem to take it. You could just do better taking it.
Well, that's the whole model with, health and wellness, that you should be taking things that are good for you so you stay healthy. The whole idea of prevention, especially if your studies showed that there really actually were changes in the health of the brain over time as we age. This would be kind of another anti-aging approach to wellness, right?
Absolutely, and there's a lot of evidence that it will prevent insults in the brain, so that if you should have a mild stroke or have any kind of injury, this being on board will help prevent damage in the brain. So there's a lot to be said both for enhancing oneself now, but also having a neuroprotective factor in the future.
Mm-hmm. Is there any indication that this is helpful for preventing Alzheimer's or
yeah, that's a great question. And certainly because of the fact that we do see improvements in cognition, the first thing one thinks of is, how can we help individuals with Alzheimer's? And this product is very useful for individuals who have vascular dementias, and some of the Alzheimer's are vascular dementias, and there would be improvement with that. It depends on how far along in the process you are and what kind of brain tissue or substrate, or I hate to be too technical here, but you can't make something when there's nothing there, but you can improve brain function when there's enough tissue there. So
and there is more of a lengthening or a stopping of the process accelerating to become.
Right. I would say on vascular dementias, there is a neuroprotective factor, so that does slow things down, and there has been documentation that you don't lose your function. So there is a stopping of the cognitive loss, yes.
Yeah, and I think some of not your studies, but some other studies in terms of for traumatic brain injury, where this is used in big pharma, they use this product, and now we're kind of bringing it to the prevention improvement level.
Right.
It must be so exciting as a neuroscientist to get this kind of evidence, and it's really groundbreaking. I so appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us here, and I feel like, if we can be a voice to help get the word out about the kind of research you're doing, it's really remarkable. Thanks so much for sharing it with us.
I appreciate it, and I agree with you that I think it's important that people be informed so they can take care of themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
so much,
Yeah,
Doctor.
thanks for coming on the after show, live and kicking at ToutSuite Social Club, and we're going to have you back in a few months after we're taking our
after you're taking it?
Going straight to Whole Foods, actually. Yeah.
Totally.
That's great.
You take care.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. We'll see you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.